and welcome back to Cafe Racer Kits, another one of our occasional videos that we put up on Facebook and YouTube from time to time. We've had an awful lot of interest and orders for the Triumph kit, which we launched earlier this year, and first of all I'd like to say a big thank you to all our customers who've put their faith in CRK for their projects, and I really hope that their builds go well. But I've had a lot of questions, and I thought it would be a good time to give you all a bit more information about the kit and to show you how it's done, what you get, sort of what the process is. So you can see here on the bench I've got a bike that is part way through a rebuild. This bike started life as a Daytona model, 1994. I've removed the fairing and I'm about 70% of the way through the conversion on this bike, so it's a good time to show you some of the items. Now, the main part of the kit is this rear subframe section, and that's the part that really makes the difference and changes the look of the bike. So just behind here I've got the old one. This was off of a previous one that I converted. But you can see that this is the original subframe, which is made out of the square section tubing, and in order to make the conversion this has to be cut off either with a hacksaw or a grinder. I generally use a little thin disc and an angle grinder. You need to cut in two places each side, so 4 cuts in all, and then that is removed in one piece. Having done that, the new subframe, which comes as part of the kit, is supplied ready painted, and this bolts in position, so there's no welding required to make the conversion. It picks up on some fixings here which are already in the frame, and also down here where the footrest mountings go on, there's a pin that locates into the original frame, and then a bolt just to secure it. So that's a very straightforward bit of work to do. You don't have to take the engine out of the frame to do that part of the conversion. So if you're lucky, as I was in this case, and the motor is nice and clean and the frame is in good condition, which I have to say the finish on these bikes was very good, normally all that's required is a good clean up and then to make that conversion. So that is the first part of your process really, this frame conversion, and then from there I'll show you in a minute how the battery and all the other bits are located onto there. When you have your subframe fully fitted and you've gone through the instructions which guide you with things like the wiring and so on and so forth, the other thing that people are very interested in is the fuel tank, which comes as part of the kit. Now, this is what you will receive. The fiberglass parts for the kit are all supplied in black gel coat and will need sanding and smoothing and preparing for a paint finish. But what you have here, you can see underneath, is that inside there is a welded aluminium fuel tank, and the reason that we've gone for the alloy is because of all the problems that you have these days with ethanol fuel and compatibility with resins. So we've got no issues there. And also at the front here you can see that there is a space which is left, so that when the tank is mounted onto the bike you have some room here in front of the mounting points where you have the water expansion tank is relocated to this position. This again is all supplied with the kit, and you have a convenient area here where you can bring together a lot of the wiring connectors from the wiring loom, which neatens up the whole thing. So that's the kind of design philosophy. The rear of the tank is the main mount, as well as the supports here, and those two fixing positions are here on the subframe. So it's not really viable. I've had a few people ask, can I just buy the subframe or can I just buy the tank? And we can discuss that, but really one relies on the other for the fixing. So we do offer a sort of base kit which is just the subframe and the tank and seat, which is without any of the other modules. So if you want to do more of your own thing, then that is available. So once you've got your subframe bolted in position, one of the things that a lot of builders are maybe slightly concerned about is the wiring for the bike. Now with the Triumph, if you imagine the bike when it's in its original form is quite a bit longer both at the front and the back, so the original loom is reused, but it's necessary to kind of shorten it a little bit to make everything fit correctly. Now as part of the kit you get this underseat tray here, and that is pre-drilled to accept the ignition module and also the fuse box from the original bike. And the loom is coming up here and under, and then it's looped back here and round, and the two connectors for those for the fuse box and the igniter are both here underneath this cross member. You've got some other connectors here. These are all the original Triumph connectors, which all fit back in the loom for the main battery, and also there's one here. This is actually if you wanted to fit an alarm to the bike, it's still got the facility for that. The brackets here for the battery are supplied. You will have to buy your own battery. I would recommend looking at these lithium ion ones, which are very light and also give really good cranking power. The battery leads are supplied as part of the kit, so that's all taken care of. And then when you run back to the back of the bike, the loom splits here and runs under this cross member, and then you've got your final wiring which comes to the back for the rear light and the indicators. The rear light LED lamp is supplied as part of the kit, and also the rear light bracket. So the only thing you may have to do is at the back here is to put a few bullet connectors in to just tidy up the wiring for the indicators and the rear light. But it's all covered in the instructions. There's lots of pictures, diagrams and words to guide you through the whole process. So it's really not a problem, the wiring. Over here, if I can find it, there is the little tail coming off for which will eventually click on for the rear brake light switch. So it's all been taken care of and thought about, and it's quite a straightforward thing to do. Okay, now we've sort of focused our attention a bit more at the front of the bike, and we're looking at the instrument module. This is designed to take the instruments from the Sprint or the Daytona models. They were also fitted to one or two other models, but you can recognise them because they would have been mounted in this kind of arrangement with some warning lights here and the tacho, speedo, and here would have been the temperature gauge. Now for the Cafe Racer, the temperature gauge is not used anymore. Instead of that we have an over temperature warning light which will come on here, and this means that you have to just replace the little sender unit that's mounted in the cylinder head with a switch, which is all provided with the kit, and the LEDs are provided as well. So you remove the tacho and the speedo and you remount them into this new housing, again which is supplied powder coated in the black. Full instructions. You will need to do a little bit of soldering to remake the loom connections back into these new LEDs, but it means you retain the original connectors and it all clicks back into the main loom just like the original one did. So again, quite a straightforward conversion. Here you can see the original loom connectors from the main loom with the ancillary parts such as the instruments and the ignition module. You've got the two handlebar switches. They all get marshalled in this position here, which will be hidden by the tank. And here you can see in a bit better detail now the new water expansion tank for the cooling system. Let's take a look at the headlamp. Again, this is all supplied as part of the overall kit. I make these headlamp brackets especially for the Triumph because one of the looks that I think is very important on a Cafe Racer is to get this sort of snubby look where the headlamp is tucked in under the instruments. So I make these little brackets, and they've got a convenient position there for mounting your indicators. The headlamp itself is one of the older models from the 1970s, 80s Triumphs, and it's particularly suited to the Cafe Racer with the chrome, and also the fact that it's got this sort of flat back which allows it to be put in nice and snug. This also, you reuse parts of the original wiring loom, so once again the original connector is retained and clicks into the main loom. Here you can see the MUDGUARD module. A fiberglass blade is supplied with the kit, and also these brackets which pick up on the original mounting points on the forks to mount that blade. This is at the sort of part build stage at the moment, and here the kit is supplied with some nicer looking dome nuts and some little rubber washers, and all the bits that you will need to do a nice job on that in the end. But I'm at the point here where I've got it all positioned up and I'm just getting everything in the right place. By the way, all the alloy parts that are supplied with the kit are supplied with a ball burnished finish, which is a two-part process. It's a chemical process first to purify the aluminium on the outer skin, and then they're all tumbled in a big container full of ball bearings which peens the surface of the aluminium and gives quite a long-lasting shiny finish to the outer surface. So all of the shiny aluminium parts are processed in that way. More shiny alloy bits, chain guard and hugger, again part of the kit. These simply bolt on to the swinging arm, replacing the plastic parts that were there originally. And the other thing that some people have asked about are silencer brackets. I supply a pair with the kit. They're a little bit wobbly at the moment because they rely on the foot pegs, which I haven't got fitted. But you do get a pair of sort of semi-universal mounting brackets with the kit. Right, I've put the tank on the bike, and as you can see that fits on over there and just runs over the subframe here. And then the other part that you get with the kit is the seat base, which will fit on here, and you'll also get the upholstered pads to go with that, ready to fit on at the end. You will have to trim this moulding to just fit your bike perfectly. Again, all these items are all covered in the instructions, which are very comprehensive. And that's it. That's the all the elements of the build that we've gone through. So I'd like to say a big thank you, particularly to all our customers, and also for anyone who's interested in CRK and in Cafe Racers in general. So thanks very much for watching. See you again.